We are BRAP, we are live, and we have another BRAP rant. I wanted to do a quick rant because, one, people are still harassing Geoff Keighley for no reason whatsoever. It's kind of dumb, as a matter of fact. Um, yeah, grown men having an obsession with what other grown men say about plastic boxes. That's what this comes down to, and I don't understand it. I never will. And we're going to talk about some differences between enhancements, remakes, remakes, and remasters, because there's a difference. Our good friend Optimus Code, supposed to be joining us, brought this up on Crossfire last night, and I was like, I had that light bulb moment. I was like, this might be a good conversation to rant about. We're gonna have some other things to talk about as well. And I have my man J Dub right now in the house, and as I mentioned, we'll have Optimus Code joining us shortly. I think he did say he was gonna come on, so we'll see. But on that note, guys, let's go ahead and get the show started right now. Man, dude, I love that intro, man. I love it.
That's a fire intro. I ain't gonna lie, man. That whole 80s cyberpunk theme music with the, you know what I'm saying, with the arcade. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it is. Big shout out to Jay, the graphic god, for putting that together for me, man. It is awesome, 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 awesome. And hey, we got Wraith the Emperor. Wraith, what's up, man? With the $2 super chat says, "What's up, fellas?" Wraith, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us, and everyone in the live chat. Please, I'm going to drop the link in here. Please go ahead and retweet it. Let everyone know that the BRAP rant is live. You know what? We're gonna get you warmed up for Scumcast, which goes live at 4:00 Eastern Standard Time. The Ash and Luca and crew. That's always a great show. Definitely head over there after this BRAP rant. I'm not sure if we're going to go 2 hours, but we definitely have some things to talk about gaming related. So look, first of all, Jada, welcome back to BRAP, man. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. It's the weekend. Got a lot of stuff to do, but other than that, man, I think about it, man. We're literally weeks away from having the PlayStation 5 in our homes, so you know that's always good to be excited about that.
Yes, and PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X and S launch as well. Yeah, it's look, man. Look, all console war stuff aside that people get involved with, it's a great time to be a gamer. It really is, and people, for whatever reason, do these deep dives into things that are so trivial over plastic boxes, with transistors and silicon. And I mean, if you kind of step back and think about it, put it in perspective, with everything else that's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
It's true. Not that serious. It really isn't. I mean, look,
it's not.
We're in the middle of a pandemic. The whole federal government practically has COVID now. I'm exaggerating, but POTUS, our president of the United States, has COVID. Many people who've been around him for the last couple of days are testing positive now. Chris Christie today, obviously, look, politics aside, wish everyone a speedy recovery. But there's definitely more things to get upset about than what Geoff Keighley tweets out. You know what I mean? Yeah, but
let's face it, the fanboys are going to be mad no matter who tweets whatever out. If it's not praising their platform of choice, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's weird, man. And I've talked a lot about this before, and I've ranted about this. It's just like it's like a science experiment, man. It's just I'm sitting there in the hills observing what the hell's going on, down below, and it's just wild, bro. Wild, man. I still don't get it. Like, I know people say that you're a console warrior, Jay. But there is certainly a segment out there that just does it more like joking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's more like that roasting culture, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people don't get that, Like they just don't, you know. We do it on BRAP sometimes, but people don't understand.
Well, one thing about me, Enrique, I embrace it. I mean, whatever people say, I don't care. I'll embrace it. I'll be the bad guy. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, who cares? If that makes you mad, if that pisses you off, then oh well. You know, if you don't have a sense of humor, or you don't like my sense of humor, because I generally tease, you know, mostly Xbox. I do tease a lot of PC and a lot of Nintendo fans as well. And then sometimes I'll roast the PlayStation guy if he says something crazy. But you know, it is what it is. You know, it's no sense of crying and whining about it.
Yeah,
it's definitely there's no sense of, I guess, being to the point where you're just really so upset that you talk about boycotting and doing all this other goofy stuff. It's like,
first of all, no one boycotts anything. Let's just keep it real, right? Like how many times we heard boycott of a AAA game, and then that AAA game comes out and like charts NPD, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
we see it with Madden, we see it with Call of Duty, we've seen it with The Last of Us 2. It is what it is.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, man.
I think I coined the term gamers in general are all frauds. And that's not to say, that, I mean, and what I mean by frauds is, if it's your preferred platform and if it's a game that you're interested in, you don't care if the developer crunches. You don't care if the game is $10 more. You don't care if they have a bunch of microtransactions and a bunch of anti-consumer stuff, because it's something you're interested in. But if it's a game that you're not interested in, and it's a platform you're not interested in, and if it's a company that you don't like, then it's fair game. You go up and, let's boycott this, and I'm not going to buy this, and this is bad, and this is like, come on, get out of here. Stop it. That's why I said all gamers are just frauds. I mean, they lie to themselves. Madden, I mean, for the last 25 years, man, we've been playing the same fucking Madden.
Same old game, man.
Same game with just roster updates. Yeah. And the next version outsells the previous version. And yet we always talk how bad EA is, how crappy they are. And we turn around and make the game a huge success for them. So this is why we will forever be getting the same Madden. If I own EA, why would I change it? Gamers, real gamers speak with their wallets, not their mouths. So it is what it is.
I mean, that's exactly why we get a Madden every year, because it keeps selling. People want it. People buy it. You know, we have the choice to vote with our wallets, and you see the end result with Madden. You know, but yeah, I've always said, like I've always talked about like this whole media bias thing and all that nonsense. You know, there's no I still see it. People are like, oh my God, IGN said something positive about Xbox. I'm like, yeah, they've said positive things about Xbox before.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, look, obviously does the media utilize clickbait? Yes, they do. They clickbait is nothing new. Like people, it's funny, like if you pull up old Electronic Gaming Monthly magazines, if you pull up old GamePro magazines, you'll see this. You'll see what clickbait used to look like, except it was on, paper, it was print media. I mean, they had to grab your attention when you walked by, when you went to, I don't know if you remember Walden Books.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So we Jay and I are old, not too old, not as old as Optimus Code, but, older than I think some of the people here listening, maybe. But I mean, we went to Walden Books, and when you went to Walden Books, there was all these magazines there, right? All these magazines, Jay, right? And then, I don't know if you remember this, Jay, they had those magazines, wink, wink, on the top right corner. You know what I mean?
The one that you would sneak over until your parents tell you to get back over here on this side.
Yeah, you would sneak over and you would like, you would put it inside another magazine to look at it. Yeah, those were the 18 and over magazines. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like that's nothing new. I mean, it's like, but people get so offended, man. Oh my God, it's clickbait. Yeah, no shit. They want you to click on the link because it's a business. Exactly. And a lot of the times you read the article. Now, sometimes the clickbait is a little over the top. I get that, right? But it doesn't ruin my day. You know what I mean? Like for some people out there, some people get so bent out of shape because their favorite console is the headline maybe doesn't look favorably upon whatever console it is they support. And I don't know if I've used the word support, Jay. I would say worship, because some of this shit is cult like. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean, it's wild, you know, and I don't think it's anything new per se. I don't think it's anything new, but because I've been doing this a long time, and I remember fanboys a long time ago, really the Nintendo fanboys and Sega fanboys going back and forth. But I think people are just extra sensitive these days, man. Extra sensitive.
I also think though. I mean, it is. Some people are hypersensitive. Some people are, you know, it is what it is. I think most of that sensitivity comes from gamers who are not satisfied with their purchases or their preferred platform and company. That's what it comes from.
Yeah.
If you're not satisfied by what, for example, what Sony is bringing you or what Microsoft is bringing you, then you know you get hypersensitive to it. So if someone says something that you don't like, then it's you start getting in baby mode. So yeah,
he said baby mode. Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's just wild, bro. It's wild, and so this came up like, so Geoff Keighley seems to be like a target here for a lot of gamers, Xbox gamers, for whatever reason. I go back to the award show where, you know, people are like, oh, it's rigged, you know, it's rigged to favor Kojima, and you know he's biased, and he is, you know, corrupt, and he is lacks integrity and ethics, and you know all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, people read the fine print. No one, and Jay, no one even stopped to look at you know, or you Jay,
Yeah.
somebody blocked you. J-Dub is sensitive, blocked me for liking fat for what?
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but I said, okay, well, if I block you, I'm gonna block you in here too.
But it's funny because I remember that people were like all up in arms. Oh, you know, he's you know Kojima, and he's you know he's got a friendship with him, and it's weird between them, and blah blah blah. And it's like, you guys, like, are you really sitting down in your chair? Seriously, I want you to reflect. I want you to reflect on your life. If you're thinking, if you sit down in your chair and you're doing the mental gymnastics of Kojima's relationship with Geoff Keighley, two people you don't even know. Let's think about this for a sec, Jay. I mean, Jay, I mean, I don't know about you, bro, but I don't have time to sit in my chair and come up with conspiracy theories and sit there and analyze and come up with like a spreadsheet org chart about the relationship that Geoff Keighley has with Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, because you know what? Real life people can't possibly be friends, right? They can't possibly be friends. You know, that's you know, you can't possibly have Geoff Keighley being friends with people in the industry. But what you can have Microsoft handing out free Cyberpunk chairs and 7 consoles to people to you know, to sway their opinions and reviews of stuff. You can have that. That's allowed, right? Nobody wants to talk about that.
I mean,
am I getting too deep? Am I getting too deep?
I get it, man. I see what you're saying. It's like, you know, people say keep the same energy. I hate that word, by the way. Mooch does as well too, but I don't think it's ridiculous. You're gonna keep the same energy. Look, Daniel B says, "Come on, there's tension between these two." No, I mean, come on. Like I know that's, people joke around about that, but I mean, seriously, all joking aside, like that whole thing with the Game Awards is ridiculous. Like that, like, you know, the conspiracy theories and stuff.
I don't know about
like,
you, Enrique. I don't know about you, but I personally feel like, to me, and that's just, again, it's one man's opinion, I do feel like Death Stranding deserves to be Game of the Year. But I also feel like they didn't give it to him because, again, a lot of the outrage, and it's funny how that outrage is always one-sided.
But here's the
But
thing,
maybe,
Jeff
maybe
doesn't
because the other side never really have any games in the game of the year category. I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's something to think about.
Well, here's what I was telling people when the whole Keeley thing came out about, when they were like, oh, well, he's biased and this and that, and he didn't, this thing is rigged. I'm like, first of all, if you read the website, if you go to the Video Game Awards website, it lays it out in plain English.
Yeah.
Who sits on the board? And by the way,
Yeah.
Phil Spencer's on that board. Sony's on the board. EA's on the board.
Oh, well, you don't want to don't talk common sense, right? Don't go to all that. Let's talk about the fanboy stuff and how Geoff Keighley is getting paid under the table by Sony and Kojima. Let's not talk about Phil Spencer being on the board. We can't possibly say that.
So, EA's on the board. I think Take-Two. So my point is that had people get so emotional. It's like, oh my God, it's like there's this grand conspiracy there, and it's Hideo Kojima and Geoff Keighley, and they're rigging the Game Awards. And it's like, no, if you read the website, Jeff on many occasions said, guys, I don't vote.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do with the voting. I'm just a guy that put this thing together because I have because I have a love for the industry. He has a love for the industry.
Yep.
I mean, and that's I think I gotta be honest with you. Like to me, like, look, you may not agree with whatever Jeff's tweets or whatever all the time. Fine, whatever, that's fine. But let's give credit where credit's due. The guy has done a lot for the industry in trying to bring it more mainstream, right? To a point where it's accepted more. I mean, it's gaming is definitely more mainstream and accepted than when I first started gaming, in 1982, right? So I've been gaming 38 years. And like you, Jay, like people would chastise. If you were a gamer, you were frowned upon, called a nerd, but it's so mainstream now,
Yep.
and I think Jeff, in a lot of ways, is trying to make it even more mainstream, create a platform where we could come together and celebrate, the art of gaming, because it is an art form. It's a form of entertainment.
Yeah.
And he's done. I think he's done a great job doing that. Right.
Well, especially in a time like this when we have COVID and everyone's at home and a bunch of the industry is shut down and stuff like that. It's something. It's not what, it's not ideal, but it's something. And this guy has brought that to us. So I think he deserves credit for that. Again, I'm going to just tell you this, man. Fanboys are going to be fanboys. They're never going to be happy about something they don't want to be happy about. Well, the only time they become, I call it fake neutral, is when it's something in their favor. Then they want to, we should just be happy for the industry and gaming and stuff like that. But then when their preferred platform is not getting the accolades and attention it needs, then they're back to being the fanboy warrior. So it is what it is. Like I said, a bunch of frauds out there attacking credible industry people.
It's
I mean, right now you got people attacking Digital Foundry.
Why are people attacking?
Well, because Digital Foundry said a lot of great things about Spider-Man, PS5, and the ray tracing implementation and stuff like that. And I mean, you literally got guys out there. Oh no, that's not real ray tracing. That's really SSR, and you're just lying and all kind of. I mean, these are people that have never developed the game, never did any insight, don't have any technical knowledge, but the ultra uber fanboy in them won't let them have common sense, right? It's the same thing. Now they're calling Digital Foundry Pony Foundry, and the next week they'll be back to loving.
So we're back to that again, huh?
Yep. It's the ever going, and this is why I make fun of it all, right? This is why I do what I do.
I mean, you do kind of shed light on the situation, I guess, Jay, right? With the memes and the GIFs.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember the whole Digital Foundry thing. It's crazy. Definitely crazy. So So the reason I'm bringing up Geoff too is because so Geoff tweeted out, I think this was Thursday night, right? If I'm not mistaken, during the NBA finals. So Geoff basically, here's the thing. Geoff tweets Cyberpunk 2077 ad with Keanu Reeves that just showed in the NBA finals game 1, right? Which, by the way, LeBron's going to take another title.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a sweep. But what's that give him 4, Jay? That would give him 4? Yeah, 4.
And with separate teams. With various teams.
Yeah, he would have three rings with 3 different teams. Or 3 championships. He won 3 championships with 3 different teams.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. That's wild. Michael Jordan's still the GOAT, though. So Geoff tweets it out, right? What the commercial looks like. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think his name is, I forget his name now. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. So Geoff tweets this out, and as you watch the commercial, you see the Xbox logo pop up, and at the end, you see the Xbox logo at the end, right? So basically, what Geoff has done, he's taken a vertical, like a small slice of this, commercial, right? Well, Microsoft, I forget the guy's name, Josh Muncie. If you don't know who Josh Muncie is the senior marketing manager for Xbox, leading Xbox Series X, right? Well, so Geoff tweets this out showing Cyberpunk, and Josh Muncie, excuse me, I didn't mean to call him John. Josh Muncie, senior marketing manager for Xbox, basically retweets what Geoff Keighley tweeted and says, and nice guest appearance by Xbox Series X, Xbox Series X. Now, he responds to, because people are asking, well, what do you mean? He says, last 4 seconds of this 30-second ad looked like this. The last 4 seconds of the ad, right? Which Geoff Keighley didn't have in his tweet, basically shows the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S and a Xbox One box copy of Cyberpunk 2077. Says explore Night City on the all-new Xbox Series X/S.
I don't see the big deal.
Well,
just because it didn't have 4 seconds was shaved off of a Twitter tweet post by Geoff Keighley, and everyone's.
It gets better.
Oh my god!
It gets better. So people are in there upset at Geoff Keighley. Oh my god, he's throwing shade at Xbox. He's showing his pony colors. Jay, you cannot make this stuff up, bro. You cannot make it up. People are on podcasts talking about how Geoff doesn't have integrity. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because
okay, let me say something about this, right? You can say what you want. You can say Geoff Keighley doesn't have integrity. You can say he's a Sony pony. But let's face it, those 4 seconds was not going to sell one single Xbox more to someone who wasn't already interested in it. So it really just makes you look stupid out here focusing on 4 seconds. If Microsoft hadn't sold you on the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, those 4 seconds were not going to sell you on it. I hate to say it. It's a multi-plat game. It's going to sell more probably on PlayStation, just like it did this year. Just like it did this generation. So, who cares? If you like the game, you're interested in the game, go and buy and support the game. I know a lot of people are waiting for it to come to Game Pass next year, the year after, 2-3 years from now. But go and support that game. 4 seconds of any trailer or commercial is not going to make or break a game, guys. It's what are we doing?
That's my point. Like what? And Geoff isn't the senior marketing director of Xbox.
Exactly. That's why I said it's their job
It's
to
their
sell
job.
you on the Xbox, not Geoff Keighley.
And what I don't understand is like, people, what are we doing here? Like, really, like in the grand scheme of things, this is not a big fucking deal. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, like this, like what, like seriously, yo, like what are we doing? It's hilarious.
Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
They would have an even better case of Geoff Keighley showing you a Cyberpunk 2077 PlayStation commercial, showing the only on PlayStation logo or a PlayStation 5. I mean, if he would have did that, they would have had a better case. But he didn't. He showed you a Xbox commercial of Cyberpunk 2077. I saw it. At the end of it, yeah, you had the Xbox logo. Come on. Like, geez. I think there's an inferiority complex with a certain fan base, and they're hypersensitive of it because, again, they're not really sold themselves into their ecosystem. Instead of them demanding better, instead of them asking for more, they rather tear down the other side. And let's face it, you only have two choices this come this November. Either you're going to buy a PlayStation 5 or you're going to buy an Xbox series, one of the Xbox series consoles. And if you have to go to the length of trying to discredit someone because they didn't show, they didn't go gaga and jump off a bridge for a multi-plat, not even exclusive, a multi-plat. That's even worse.
Oh my God.
I don't get it, man. And maybe I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. Real quick, I'm gonna get the super chat, Jay. Percolator, what's up, Perks? With the $5 super chat says, "Woo! So happy super chat is working. Hit that like button. Woo! Thank you, Perk. I appreciate that, man. We gotta get some Warzone in, man. I haven't been on Warzone in a minute, but I appreciate the super chat, Perk. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing here, Jay. I mean, it's just like I don't get it. If you look at that retweet, Geoff is basically like, you see the Xbox logo at the start of the video and you see the Xbox logo at the end. People are complaining that he left off the 4 seconds of the commercial where it shows the two new consoles. What are we doing here? How is that any lack of integrity? This shit is wild, bro. How are you putting this much stock into Geoff Keighley? What power does he have over you for you to be so emotionally invested like this?
And they already don't like Geoff Keighley, right? They already don't like Geoff Keighley. So why would you watch Geoff Keighley stuff expecting him to cater to you? If that's not your favorite person, if you and I know a lot of guys, they like to stick in their own little bubbles, right? They have a bubble of people that they follow and they listen to, and anybody outside that bubble, they don't want to hear it from. And I get that. That's what you want to do it. But geez, right now we're you're picking on something that's so minute. It's not even going to help you anyway.
This is part of the problem here. I'm not going to name this guy's name because if he wants us to give him credit, we got to see in color. But
you're gonna get that smoke later.
But he's saying Geoff will never do that kind of stuff for Sony. Are we being real here or what? He has showing Crash 4 PS4 ads all over the place. So what? Who cares? Is an Xbox logo not an ad? I mean, you have the marketing symbol for the Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, this is why I'm talking about it, because it's so over the top, and I just can't believe. Maybe I should believe it, man. Maybe I should just be like, you know what, it is what it is. This shit shouldn't surprise me anymore.
It should. You know what? I keep saying it. It's nothing should surprise you, but ultimately it always does for some weird reason.
Yeah, it's like people want, oh, you got to treat my piece of plastic the same way as the other piece of plastic. Really? You want another man to treat your favorite piece of plastic the way they're treating another piece? Who cares? Let me, what do you get out of that person? Please, someone in the live chat, answer this $1 million question. What do you get out of that personally? How do you benefit personally?
Yeah,
I'd like to know. I guarantee you, no one's going to answer that.
Yeah, I just want to know if Geoff Keighley would have included everything, right? Would have been more happy with him? No, because they've already made up in their minds that he's biased. Because guess why? PlayStation gave him a controller and a console to play with and to play Astrobot and stuff. So he's already he's a Sony pony. Like, so they've already made it up in their minds. Who cares? That's one thing about it.
Yeah, we got someone in the live chat saying they've seen the commercial a few times and hasn't seen that last 4 seconds where they show the consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't get it. Forte says what's up, Forte? Forte. I love you, man. Let me tell you, Forte is one of the best dudes in the industry, and I would say in the industry, in the community, man. Great all around dude. What's up, Forte? I don't know if he's at work listening to us, but if you are, man, appreciate the love.
Forte.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, he Forte said he was dealing with that on Crossfire last night.
Yeah, I didn't get to listen to that part of Crossfire last night. I'd be interested to see what they said, Forte.
Yeah. I listen. And
Optimus Code said, Brett, why did y'all start without me? Code, because I told you 2 p.m. East Coast time, man. Eastern City. Hold on. Optimus Code probably thought I said 2 p.m. his time, which would be I think 3 p.m. my time. Let me a sec here.
You know, Optimus in that Mars time zone. My man on his own time zone. Yeah. and shout out.
Forte said he's Optimus Code's on old man time.
I know, right? I told you he's on that Mars time zone. They're roasting him in the chat. They said Code was taking a nap.
Code had to take his afternoon nap.
Oh man, we got a super chat.
Yeah, hold on, me the super chat. Hold on, I'm gonna read some of these things that are going on here. All right, we got Boogeyman with the $10 super chat. So what happened to the days where the console wars were just ribbing each other? Sega does when Nintendo don't type stuff. The worst when we were kids was getting an SNES cart when you had a Sega.
Yeah.
Yo, that's fact that happened.
I miss those days. Those were the good old days when again, back in those days, Sony used to send Crash Bandicoot outside of Nintendo studios inside of their headquarters and, you know, with a megaphone talking about, you know, hey, plumber boy, come out and play. And so, I mean, it was that fun teasing between the companies, and we loved it. Now, I mean, you can't even tweet out something without someone saying, oh my God, I can't believe you. You're supposed to be executive. You're supposed to be this. And I can't believe you're saying that. And it's like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it really is, man. I'm trying to get to some of these comments here. No one's answered the question that I asked. You know, they've only answered it with another question of their own, right? So basically, what I said was, you know, why is this a big deal, and why does he need to treat your box the same way he treats another box? Like, how do you benefit from that?
Yeah,
personally, no one's been able to answer that.
Well, they really can't, right? Because again, it goes back to what I said. They're unhappy with their own box. They really are unhappy. For them to worry about someone else's opinion.
I think it's more than that, man. I think it's more than that, Jay.
I mean, I think the crux of it is they are unhappy, right? Because if you're really happy about your console,
like, I think it's more than being happy about your console, bro. Let's keep it a buck. I think it's things
you think
externally
it's cultish. You think it's cultish?
No, I just think that you have people that just aren't happy people.
Yeah.
You know, just generally speaking.
Yeah.
You know, misery loves company. I mean, that's the only rational thing the rational conclusion I can draw is that people aren't happy and they project their unhappiness onto inanimate objects and people they don't even know.
Oh, that's true. That makes sense. You're right.
No one in the live chat has answered that question yet.
Yeah.
I told I told you I was going to hammer them on this topic.
Yep, you did.
That's why it's BRAP rant.
Yeah.
You know, I get to the BRAP rants. Let me tell you something. The BRAP rants are not for the faint of the heart.
Well, my motto, what I always say is, how does that make your console better again? How does that make Xbox? Even if Geoff Keighley, even if he would have did it right, even if he would have showed 20 extra seconds of the game, how does that make Xbox better? It doesn't. That doesn't change anything.
It doesn't change anything. That's what I'm saying. How Geoff presented this commercial at the end of the day is so inconsequential to the one thing that matters the most in gaming: video games. It's the reason why we play games. And I'm starting to think that there's people out there that kind of don't really play games, that just are part of a group because they want to feel part of something. They want to feel part of a community. They want to feel acceptance. This is the way of doing it.
This community has been infiltrated by a bunch of guys that don't play games, but they needed somewhere to fit in. And so this is the place where they feel comfortable with fitting in and being angry and just, whining about everything.
Yeah. Somebody asked honest question: do we not believe Geoff has a preference for Sony? Yeah, I'm sure he does. Of course, everyone has preferences.
Yeah.
But
in order for you to say you don't have a preference, you're a liar.
Yeah, I'm sure Geoff.
You're a liar. Some of us have been. We started gaming on Atari. We started gaming on the NES, and over the years, we've gained a certain affinity for something. This is why Nintendo is able to do whatever they do, and no one really gives them any slack about their stuff.
Yeah. Here, Jay. I gotta send Optimus a DM.
Okay. So, 9 lives, big facts. He says Jay's a career politician. Big facts.
Jay, you do politics a little bit, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
But it is, and like I said, I embrace whatever they say. I embrace it.
Hold on a second.
I'm not going to deny whatever. We got JD Gamer with the $5.
Sorry, man. I'm sending a code thing here. All right. Optimus Code, check your DM, man. Again, I just sent you the link. JD gave it the $5 super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, JD. Always appreciate. By the way, JD, always appreciate your support, sir. I really do, man. We may not always agree on everything, which is fine. It's quite look. That's the other thing, man. It's okay if we don't agree. We don't have to, but we can respectfully disagree. But JD, mad love, my friend, says, sorry, just got on. Can you rehash or re-ask the question and tell me what you're ranting about? So basically, JD, Geoff Keighley retweeted the NBA Finals Cyberpunk 2077 commercial, which aired again on Game 1 of the NBA Finals. He didn't have the last 4 seconds of the commercial, which showed the Xbox Series S and X consoles, and the commercial did actually show what Geoff retweeted of that commercial. You'll see the Xbox logo, and you'll see the Xbox logo at the end of what Geoff posted. And so the senior marketing manager retweeted what Geoff said, and he said also in this commercial, and I'm paraphrasing what this guy said, but he basically said, hold on here, let me pull it up. I don't want to misquote. What Josh Muncy, the senior marketing manager for Xbox, he retweeted what Geoff tweeted and said, and nice guest appearance by Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Now, Josh Muncy did not tweet what the last 4 seconds was, right? Right away. He basically tweeted that right after. Well, he retweeted it the next day. So Josh Muncy tweets a nice guest appearance by Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S on, when I think the tweet was September 30th at 11:38 p.m. Right?
Yep.
And then 2 hours later, he tweets, here's the last 4 seconds of this 30-second ad look like this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's JD, what everyone is upset about. So let's get Optimus Code here. What's up, Code?
What up, man? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. So you go drop some bars?
No, not today. Not today. That's got impromptu, man. Impromptu.
All right.
How was that old man nap you had? That's what the chat was saying.
Yo, they were roasting you, Code. They said
They were
Code woke up from his nap.
I've seen all of it. They gonna pay. How y'all doing, man? How's everybody doing today?
We're doing well, Code. We're just talking about this crazy stuff about Geoff Keighley, man. I don't know if you heard about it, what I was talking about, but
yeah, I want to respond to your question. I usually agree with Jay, but he said something today that I disagree with, which is odd because I usually agree with him 100%.
You talking about J-Dub?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Well, which one of y'all want it first?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, give it to me. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Well, so first, J-Dub, I mean, I disagree with you that people can't love all their things equally and that they have to have a preference. That's just not true. I thoroughly enjoy and care about everything that I invest my money in. And if I reach a point where I don't care, I'm just casual or it don't matter, as blasé to me, then I'll stop investing in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for Xbox. I'm very excited for PlayStation. My Nintendo, which gets a lot of love. Well, I guess that ain't true. I do sort of have my PC just because I've always had one. But
Code, you don't like PC, bro.
That's far from true. I just ain't no content.
But you always hate on PC.
Because PC used to be a place where they had plenty of compelling content. Now they just get what everybody else get, just with upgrades. And it's like the PC exclusive don't exist no more.
A bunch of ports. Yeah.
That's a great point. There was a time, Code, where we walk into like a Babbage's, man, and you would see all PC games, right? Remember that?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, that's not the point. I'm just saying, Jay, I get the gist of what you're saying. Now, if you look at a timeline, so if you look at, I don't know where like when Spider-Man Miles Morales hit, I'm going to be playing predominantly on my PlayStation. But then when Crossfire X hit, I'm going to be over there on Xbox. So I will alternate back and forth based on what's hot. But man, I like all my stuff, man. I just do. I'm sorry if that's weird to y'all, but I like.
No, it's not weird at all.
No. Listen, that's not necessarily what I was trying to say, but I look at it like this, right? I'm a guy. I used to love the non-receivers, right? You're an audiophile just like myself.
Yeah, I got one right now. The 30.
I used to love the non, right? But then I switched to Marantz, and now I'm a Marantz guy. Now I won't really mess with Denon. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess that just make me a Marantz fanboy or whatever. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And so, but that's my preference. But that don't mean I'm gonna go on this rant about Denon and how it's a piece of crap and how because you have it, then you're a bad person, or because of this and this and that. Like that's craziness to me, right? It's okay to say, hey, my ears prefer, right? My ears and my clip speakers kind of prefer the way it sounds to me. I prefer, Marantz. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Some people feel like the moment you say you have a preference, that people feel. I mean, people feel that other people can't have that preference. Oh, you can't have that preference because you're in the industry and you're an insider and you this and this.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, if you're a human, you have preferences. That's just what it is, you know. Some people like skinny chicks
on that level. Yeah,
fat chicks. Some people like them thick. Some people like them lean. You know,
you wild, man.
I'm just being honest. Like, you just can't flat out say, hey, I like all chicks.
I like them all. Man, yes, I do. I like
Code. Okay, Code. I'm down there, Code.
I take them short, skinny, and wide. It don't matter.
Man, Code's licking his lips right now.
I like them all. Man, Coke, weed, or speed. I got what you need.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Code, man. Hey, it's Code. Let me tell you something, man. It is so good to have you on BRAP, sir. It's been a minute. It has been a while since we had you on, man. So thank you for hopping on today for today's rant, man. Yeah, hey, I remember you said, hey, get J-Dub on the rant. Remember?
I wasn't coming without J-Dub. Yeah. I need to kick it with the Emperor from time to time, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.
Bro.
Speaking of Emperor, I do have a $2 super chat from Rate the Emperor. Says I have a preference for Sony, but also play Xbox. You know, and real quick regarding preferences, it's funny. Like, for me, as a gamer, my preferences have always kind of gravitate to wherever I'm spending the most time gaming. Right. So, like, I would say, like Sony, it's not Sony. Like, PC is my preference right now. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do a lot of gaming there. Then the PlayStation, right? Then the Switch, you know. But but basically my preference to taste go where the games are
right? But but that just means you are engaged in what's hot at the moment. Yeah, but that's normal. Being a multi-platform owner, well, I mean, if I was to be completely honest, I pretty much switched back and forth between Switch and PlayStation as far as what was hot. But when the multiplayer stuff came, man, me and my guys and me and my family members, we spend a lot of hours on Xbox, man. And so it just, you follow what's hot and whatever's going on with the crowd. But while I'm gaming on Xbox, it doesn't mean that I'm not excited for the next PlayStation.
Yep.
Waiting for it, and vice versa.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, man.
I pre-ordered the X Series X, and I got the external drive. I secured that.
What?
So I secured that.
Why would you buy that, man?
I buy everything. It is what it is.
Manipulation, Jay. You ought to fight the power.
Fight the power.
Hey, listen. Before you came on this show, one of the first topics I told BRAP, I told Enrique, I said, look, gamers in general are frauds. We lie to ourselves to say we're not, but we are fraud. If it's all that, let's band together.
Guilty.
EA keeps giving us the same game. Let's do this, and it turn around and we buy the game better than we did the previous one. So it's always going to be that way. Just gamers in general are frauds, right? I'm out here trolling about Xbox and stuff like that, but people know I'm going to get the shit. That's just what it is.
Yeah, because you're a gamer, Jay. It's funny. Like, you're right. We are fraud. Like, I will pull my fraud card. I was out there in line waiting for the Series X pre-order.
Yeah, because you told me, you swore up and down. You was like, I'm only excited for the PlayStation. Xbox ain't doing it for me. Next thing I know, I see you taking pictures in the line.
Optimus Code shaking his head at me like this mother.
Hey, shout out to Rodimus. He's true. And he said, ask J-Dub the last time he was on his PlayStation compared to Xbox. I heard he's a Sea of Thieves master. Big facts. Listen, I told y'all, after I beat The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, I was boxing up my PlayStations, basically the current gen consoles. I was boxing that shit up, putting it in the closet, and I wasn't going to play. I was just going to play on my PC until the next generation console. I get like that every generation. After they announce the new stuff, I that's it. I don't want to play anything until I got my hands on the new. And that's where I'm at now. So yeah, when you see me playing Sea of Thieves, it's on my PC.
All right, guys, real quick, I want to mention something here. I'm not going to mention this guy's name because we like to see color to mention names, but so this is what I'm talking about. GameSpot website has an ad on their website with a Cyberpunk 77 giveaway on PS4, even though Xbox has the marketing. It is hilarious. That's how much the media is biased.
Well, all right. I don't know if you really want me to talk about this on the air, Enrique, but media bias is a thing, and
I do remember you saying that before.
Yeah, I don't even understand why people think it's not. Anytime there are human beings involved, there can be bias.
I agree with that. I don't think there's just like here's my thing. I don't think that the media
conspiracy. There's not a conspiracy.
I don't think the media sits down in a dark room at a table trying to figure out how to screw over Xbox. Is my point.
I mean, I disagree with that too. Well, I mean, wait, I don't disagree with that. I'm saying the only options. Let me clarify. So, and this is a true story. I'm gonna leave out the names, but this is a 100% true story.
Yeah,
I know a couple of guys that grew up PlayStation fans, but also there really was no Xbox at the time, so they grew up PlayStation fans, and they ended up making friends in college. And they continue to play video games all through college. and after they got through college, they went on to gain positions in the industry. And both of these guys ended up in positions of power. Both of these guys made a concerted effort to downplay and hinder the advancement of Microsoft because they never liked Microsoft their entire lives. And now they were in positions of power and they had the ability to cause grief. They couldn't do much, but they would cause grief. And it's just because they had a bias against Microsoft. And now they could exercise.
They could exercise it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily believe that people get together in a room to do stuff, but I do think powerful people have biases and they can act on those biases. I've seen it times.
I agree with that, Code.
But I don't think it's only against Microsoft. So that's the thing. I think it's all people in that position can be biased, and they can be biased against Sony as well, or Konami. Like, it doesn't matter who it is.
Or Nintendo.
Exactly. So,
but not PC though, because PC is just
PC is nobody. Like, there's nobody that owns it unless they want to attack Valve for whatever reason, and people
or Nvidia,
Yeah.
Like
PC is the only platform where
best platform.
Well, ecosystem where you can get a Honda Civic, but you can also get a Lamborghini all within that same ecosystem.
Yeah.
So it goes as deep as your pockets will let it go. You see what I'm saying? So there's no limit there. Whereas these consoles, I mean, the budget is $500 and that's it. That's the highest you're gonna ever pay for a console, at least for the near future. Until they try to raise the price up again.
Agree.
Yeah. Real quick, guys, to get the super chats here. We got a $5 super chat from Everborn Saga. It says, I'm mostly an Xbox Switch dude, but J-Dub is right. I miss the days when people weren't so sensitive. Xbox was PlayStation, Marvel versus DC. It's all fun. Yeah, we said that earlier. Sometimes it's just that, like I said, J-Dub, like that roasting culture. I don't think some people are up to speed on that. And then we have Emmanuel A1 with the $2 super chat. Says Xbox Series X enhanced games can be better. Stop the lies. We're going to talk about that here in just a sec, because Optimus Code, you brought up I had a light bulb moment last night with you on Crossfire, sir. And I was like, oh, and I tweeted it. And then of course I got some weird, I'm like, come on, people. By the way, Jay, if you're playing Sea of Thieves, bro, I am down. I can't get the BRAP crew to play Sea of Thieves with me. No one on BRAP will play Sea of Thieves. They're like, no, we're not doing that. Like, they won't play. I'm like, why not? It's fun.
Hey, like they advertise it. You're supposed to make your own fun out of it.
Exactly. Make a drinking game out of it or something.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on, see here. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any more super chats.
You got another one.
Oh, I got a couple more. Oh, here we go. All right, super chats. Appreciate it, guys. Herodotus says if the media wasn't biased, we wouldn't have Fox News or MSNBC.
Facts.
It's true.
All right, here we go. With that said, Jeff is always trying to get his Xbox jabs in, and that's why he'll start looking more and more ridiculous and becoming less relevant. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Jeff is.
I don't. Yeah,
it is certainly the case that if you look in our culture, and this is one of the things that annoys me personally, especially coming from my generation, but in our culture, that whole notion of perception is reality. If it looks like it's true, then that's what's true. If it's actually true or not, just the optics. That culture, I think that if Jeff wants to survive in that culture where people don't judge you based on what it looks like as opposed to taking the time to figure out what's actually true, he is painting a picture that he is more of a preference for Sony over Microsoft.
But I don't think he's never said he's not, right? He's never went on the record saying, hey guys, I'm not partial to PlayStation more than Microsoft, because guess what? He's been in the industry for a long time, and he was around before Xbox was around. So obviously those relationships and those things like that, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, Xbox is the new kid on the block.
Sure.
And again, until I see him say, which I think he's kind of said it before, with the whole Death Stranding debacle, it's like, look, I can't help. I like the guy, Hideo Kojima. We have a history together with gaming. I used to go to Sony Studios back in the day. I used to do this, and we ran across each other, had dinner from time to time. Like,
he's got relationships.
You can't knock that man for that. What are you supposed to do? But defriend this guy and act like he doesn't exist?
We can't be friends, Kojima.
I can answer that, Jay. I know it's rhetorical, but I can answer that.
Yeah.
If you are on a platform and you are the platform owner, where your job is, the perceived job of yours is to be inclusive in this fair place where content creators, video game makers can have a fair shot at this competition and this award show.
Yes,
absolutely, 100%. You have to do everything in your power to get rid of any perceived biases or slants. Which is why great responsibility. Which is why be the same as everybody.
And Nintendo guys are on the board, and he doesn't have a voting. He doesn't have a voting option.
But now you're looking at what's true again, right? I agree with you. We don't agree on that.
Like Jeff doesn't have a say in who gets nominated.
100%. You got that was true,
and he's transparent about it. Like, he's been on Twitter, but that's not enough. People, you're friends with Hideo, so you're lying to us.
Yeah,
that's the narrative.
That's not true.
At the end of the day, Optimus kind of at the end of the day, nobody can blame Geoff Keighley for the downfalls of Xbox and what they've did to themselves this generation and being last place in gaming. That you can try to slander Jeff. Some people can try to slander Geoff Keighley for that. It's kind of like this whole commercial. Geoff Keighley played a Cyberpunk 2077 commercial in a tweet, and at the end of it, it did include Xbox on Xbox, right? He tweeted that out. He could have edited and put on PlayStation if he wanted to, but he didn't. But guys were mad at him because he didn't include more content at the end of that particular trailer that showed some more stuff. Well, okay, now we're nitpicking. Now you're really just trying to.
Well, hold on, Jay. First, well, I don't know, because our timelines are different, Jay. I know you're gonna catch way more smoke than I do from the Xbox people. But from where I stand, nobody is blaming Jeff for the downfall of Microsoft. What people are blaming Jeff for is presenting a platform that is not fair. And if Microsoft has shot themselves in the foot or not,
to be fair,
on this day and on this night, is the deck stacked against
but Optimus, to be fair, Microsoft didn't make any software this generation.
Wait, let me be clear, because I don't think I agree, Jay. Like,
that's all I'm saying. Like, I would say that, and that's why I told Enrique they would have a better chance, right, of choosing a different argument. But you can't force this guy to put games that didn't get voted in by any other
body to beat
Game of the Year. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But what you're doing is you're looking at what's true again, and that's I'm trying to clarify.
Okay, right.
If you look at what's true,
you're right.
It's easy to see the man, no harm, no foul. But if you look at optics, and and in this society, it is kind of difficult not to look at the optics, then it's going to paint a picture if that picture is true or not.
So I think,
real quick, Jay.
With that being said, I think what he should do, with that being said, because of optics, he should create a separate category, one or two of them, and just give Xbox like those. Just throw some shit in there.
I know,
so
man.
I'm just saying, like, that's the only way I can see him winning, like getting people off his back, because it seems like here's damn if you do, damn if you don't situation.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's
out a pro Xbox commercial and still getting shit for it. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, he is. He's still getting shit for it because he didn't show the last 4 seconds, which just shows the consoles. And people,
that is true, Enrique. That's partially true. You're right. That is partially true. The whole story is the Cyberpunk guy started this because he tweeted out, "Hey, by the way, here's the actual commercial."
No, it was It was a senior marketing manager for Xbox that tweeted.
Oh, wait, right, whoever it was, right. I'm sorry.
So then people are like, oh, look what Geoff did. He purposely cut it out. It's like, you know, and Jeff's on there, and he actually responded to a tweet to a tweet I was in, and he's like, yeah, you know, because of, you know, vast conspiracies, right? You know, he's kind of like poking fun at the whole thing. But I'll say this, like, Geoff has actually praised Microsoft more recently and has been critical of Sony in the past. He praised Microsoft a lot when the 360 came out.
It don't matter.
The funny thing with the media bias thing, you know, and Code, this is outside of what we discussed, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is too. I'm speaking more of that meeting in the dark room, right?
Yeah. But
last generation, it was Sony fanboys that were like the media's bias, and so what I've seen is, it almost seems like, look, and I kind of equate this to sports a little bit. When you're on the winning team tends to get usually better press coverage, you know?
Yep.
And I know this because I live outside Washington, D.C., and our team gets terrible press
relationships. Yeah.
And our team gets terrible press conference because their team's not good. We're not. But when we were winning, I remember we were winning Super Bowls, Joe Gibbs, you know? I mean, Code remembers the 1950 Bears.
That was 80 years ago. That team won something. Who was it? Like Doug Williams was that the quarterback?
Yeah, Doug Williams. Yeah, right. I mean, but the media was praising them. There wasn't all these articles of, you know, Dan Snyder and sexual harassment. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like it's
that's the bias. Yeah, that is the bias. The media is biased toward the things that are going well, and they pile on when things are going poorly.
But I don't think.
With that being said, though, since we know that, right? We know that if Sony's doing something bad, then they getting their back kicked in, and then if Microsoft is doing something bad, they get that. Since we know that, shouldn't it cancel out? And so there's no such thing as media bias, because if everybody does it, if all the media does it, then it makes everything fair.
Well, they don't do it on like one individual event. Like Sony did something bad, Microsoft did something bad, and they give them both equal coverage. The way they will do it is kind of similar to what Enrique is saying. If Sony is having a winning season, they're going to get a lot of positive press because they're winning. Even if they did something bad, they are in the winning seat, so they're going to get positive press. Okay. Microsoft does something in the middle, just say medium, but because they are not in the winning seat, they're going to get negative coverage because everybody likes a winner, and that's just going to happen.
Let me just say something real quick too, Code, onto your point, like about like winning seasons. I mean, like Sony's bumbling message, the media's called them out about that. Eurogame had an article entitled "Sony needs to earn the trust of gamers back."
True.
Yeah. You know, so that's why when I tell people,
like, new season, like right now it's 0-0.
Yeah. Like when I tell people, like, hey, like it's not that, you know, that there's this grand. Again, I'm speaking to grand conspiracies. I don't believe there's a grand conspiracy. To an extent, I do agree with what you're saying, Code. But what I'm saying is that when Sony messes up, the media does call them out, and the media hammered Sony last console generation, you know, and they may do it this generation, depending on, you know, what kind of successes Sony has, you know, with the PS5. But I got to get the super chats real quick, gentlemen. I got $5 super chat from Evan Bourne Saga. He says there's media bias against Xbox, but it's up to the Xbox marketing team to change that over the time. I would also say it's up to Microsoft will change that narrative if you believe that with, I think, good content. JD Gamer with the $10 super chat. Thank you, JD. Says on remasters, Xbox Series X and X can be better and is better than some of the more basic remasters, but not better than a remake or good remaster. It simply can't be because it doesn't change the base code. And we're going to transition to that code because you brought this up on Crossfire last night. And JD Gamer again with the $5 super chat. Thank you, JD. Appreciate it, sir. Says the truth is we don't know what's true. He hasn't spoken to it, but we all have his optics as far as Geoff is concerned. And I think, am I all caught up here with super chats? No, I got one more from JD Gamer with the $5 super chat again. Thank you, JD. Says the media is biased. It's biased towards the winner. Everybody wants to be a winner. There's more money in that. It's terrible to be a loser.
Man, all right. I agree with that 100%.
That's actually well said, JD. All right, Code. So real quick, you mentioned something on Crossfire last night. Big shout out to Mooch and the panel there. Great show, by the way. Really enjoyed it. Some really great conversations related to Spider-Man. So you said something to me the other day, or not to me personally, but you said something to the everyone was listening. You said something to the effect that enhanced games like Xbox Series X enhanced games, for example, we know that Gears 5 will be optimized for the Xbox Series X. It's going to have things like 50% higher particle counts, run 60 frames per second in 4K. They're looking, I think the coalition is looking at 120 FPS for multiplayer games. It's going to have deeper shadows, brighter lights, which what coalition saying will give the game kind of more pop, make the game feel more alive, right? So there's some of the optimizations for this game. But Code, you said something, because look, I've been critical of Sony, that I felt like, hey, you know what? If you bought PlayStation 4's Spider-Man, you should get the remake of the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5
remaster,
remaster, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you own the game already, just like, come on, show us some love. Let's get the remaster, right? Because we know that Microsoft's doing that with with their smart delivery, with their first party stuff. What's up, Mooch? Mooches, thank you, BRAP. Great. What's up, Optimus Code, J-Dub City? Yeah, Mooch. Good to see you, bro.
Mooch.
So Code, I think Mooch heard that I was doing a giveaway, so he's in the live chat right now. Hashtag mooching, right? But so Code, you said something. You said an enhancement is not the same as a remaster. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I never thought of it like that before. Just had a light bulb moment. But you're right. There are some differences between enhancements, remasters, and remakes. Now, Jay, I did have some people in the live chat tell me be starting the show. One gentleman in particular said, how can you say a game at 120 frames per second is not a remaster. So, like, seriously, so Code, because you used to make games, but you're still in IT as a cloud engineer. I think that's your title, right? I always forget.
Cloud solution architect is my official title.
Well, we need to talk, by the way. Yeah, we got to talk, because I'm in that realm now. I think we talked about that offline, but all right. So kind of explain to the live chat kind of why that is, like, why like an Xbox Series X game enhanced is not the same as a remaster.
Right. So let's just go to the
remake.
PC, because I think that's the easiest way to see this for people. So if you go to the PC, right, and you say you got a 1060, just a regular RTX 1060, and you're gonna look Crysis. That was the game that everybody used as a benchmark, right? And so say you want to look at Crysis in all its glory, but your 1060 can't handle it. So you have to turn down some of the graphics settings, and you're gonna play with resolution. You're gonna upgrade some settings, some shadows, some draw distances. You're gonna lower resolution. You're gonna do whatever you want to get like the best possible experience for your box. There could be somebody else down the street from you, say they have a 1080 Ti at this time, and they will be able to get all of the glory out of Crysis. But y'all are both playing the exact same game.
Yeah.
It's that their version of it, they can increase the settings to make that game look better than the one that you're using. That's what happens when you go from like a PS4 to a PS4 Pro, or Xbox One S to a Xbox One X enhanced or Pro enhanced. All they do is your vanilla PS4 is like the 1060, like not exactly, just for the point of analogy. And then your Pro is the one with all the updated settings. But rather than give you the ability to update the settings yourself, they will just pick all of the updated settings for you and release that as a patch or the PS4 Pro version. And you can see that better version on the Pro only. And then the vanilla PS4 will just get that first one. But that is still the same game. One of them has just been enhanced because you have turned on graphical features that you couldn't with the lower card, but the game is exactly the same. And that's what they do with the Xbox One X enhanced game. It's what they do with a PS4 enhanced, and they may enhance it for performance or graphics. They let you pick performance mode, graphics mode, whatever. But on PC, you get all of the settings. So that's what an enhancement is. It's the same game, just with higher graphical fidelity. A remaster is not that. A remaster is when, now they don't change any of the base code, but they'll more than likely they'll redo the character models, they'll redo the motion capture, because it was done on such old stuff that they're like, hey, we can modernize this game. It's not taking the same game and adding graphical effects, which is what they're doing with Gears and all of those. It is taking a Gears remaster will be very different than a Gears 5 with enhancement, because a Gears 5 remaster, they're going to redo the character models, the motion capture. They're probably going to make new higher fidelity textures, higher resolution textures. The level design can improve. They'll probably add more triangles instead of less. They'll probably have better facial animations. Like a remaster is like saying, hey, let's redo this game with today's technology. Keep the game and the design all the same, but let's just completely redo it from scratch, overhauling all of the graphical stuff. And that's the same as you got with the Shadow of the Colossus remaster, the Master Chief Collection remaster, the Last of Us remaster. It is taking this old game and redoing it with modern technology.
Yeah.
That is very different than just turning on graphical features for an existing game. And then the last one is a remake, like Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil 3 remake, where they just redo the whole thing and change the story, all of that, whatever they want.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think
all of those upgrades.
So even Demon Souls.
Yes, Demon Souls is it looks like a remaster, but it might be a remake. If the story is exactly the same, it's a remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It may be an in-betweener. I don't know. But I would call it a remaster. But god damn, they got a brand new engine, brand new.
And it might be a remake. That's the thing.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's the highest one is the remake.
Yeah.
That takes the most effort.
Exactly. Now there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, I don't want to pay for remaster. Remaster should be free."
We've always paid for remasters.
I take that on a game to game basis, right? Because there are a lot of lazy remasters. There are remasters that shouldn't be called remasters. They're just like what you said earlier about, well, you got more powerful hardware, it's automatically just gonna be able to turn on the bells and whistles that it probably should have been anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't make any editing, any changes, and maybe that, right? Maybe that should be free. But then there are some games, some remasters where it took them a whole year of development trying to redo artwork, like you said, motion capture, different character, different animations, engine or a tweaked engine, updated engine to run on
that design.
Yeah, and so guess what? I don't mind them charging for that because they took more work to do that. It's not just giving me something and calling it a day. They actually put in the legwork, and then my experience is going to notice it, and I'm going, and plus they're giving all new trophies and stuff, just like with Spider-Man. You're going to get all new trophies. I platinumed the previous Spider-Man. Well, now I'm going to be able to, for $20, I can get this PS5 remastered game and get another platinum on it. So I mean, plus with the ray tracing and all the other bells and whistles and a new character and stuff like that, maybe it's worth it to a lot of people. Some people maybe
preaching to the choir, my brother.
Yeah,
hey, the whole thing with optics again.
Yeah.
Real quick, guys, I want to get another super chat from JD Gamer, the $10 super chat. Thank you again, JD. Says after these two next big acquisitions by Microsoft, watch the winds begin to change for Sony as they can't keep up with Microsoft in terms of AAA game output because of a lack of studios.
Now we can talk about that, or do you want to stay on topic? What you trying to do, Enrique?
I That's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
I'll say one thing on that.
Let's talk about it for like 5 minutes real quick, and then I want to go back to the whole remake remaster thing.
Okay. One thing I'll say is Microsoft are invested and they have invested in studios, right? Bravo to them. Kudos to them. They deserve all the credit for doing what they should have did all along, right? We know that they didn't invest for like 3 years. They sat dormant. They finally decided to invest and re-engage back in gaming. They did, and they deserve credit for that. But if it's gonna take some years for us to see some output from these things, I don't know. Could we be looking at next generation before we see the fruits of the labor of the bulk of these purchases? Or because I don't think even if they bought Bethesda and ZeniMax, those games, even all the new games that they have or the new studios that they've acquired and they're building, a lot of those games are years off. And I'm not talking about just 1 or 2 years. I'm talking about 3, 4, some maybe even 5.
I don't think they're going to be 7 years out though, Jay, which is typically the length of the generation.
No. I don't think so either, because I think Microsoft plan, again, the end game is Game Pass, and you can't spend 7, 8 years like Naughty Dog and like some of Sony studios that take forever to output a game. Microsoft is not having that. They need games now. They need consistent content. That's why they Matt Booty said it, even Phil Spencer said it. A lot of their first purchases were the smaller AA and indie studios, so they can crank out 4 or 5 games a year, some consistent content, which Game Pass is like Netflix, right? You need the consistent new stuff. You just can't sit there and wait 5, 6 years for some stuff to come. People will move on to other stuff.
All right. Let me jump in real quick, not to interrupt you, but just to warn Enrique, this is going to take way more than 5 minutes because he's going into some stuff, and either we can get back to that other topic or understand we're going to go way longer than 5 minutes because we talked about this at length last night on Crossfire, and I definitely got some replies to what Jay is saying.
All right. Why don't you get into that? I got to wrap up in about 30 minutes. So, yeah, let's go ahead.
So go ahead and finish up, Brother Jay.
Oh, I was just saying, is this all of these acquisitions and stuff? Will this be a long-term strategy, or is this for the short term? Because in the short term, I don't see. In the short term, I can't see what they have coming out. In the short term, I mean the next year or two, they could have a big fluctuation. Year 3 or year 4 with a bunch of games. They could come out with like 30 games. Possible, yes, I think it's that. Yeah. But within the next 2 years, I just don't see a bunch of games come flooding in. Only because they've already said they're in pre-production on the most
of them. Yeah, or the ones that people really cared about anyway.
Stuff that people care about. I'm not talking.
Yeah.
We all know. We know. We don't have to define that. We know when we talk about.
All right. Right.
All right, go ahead.
So I definitely think that. I am really certain that they are still interested in big AAA titles. The thing is that they think that their model supports more than just big AAA titles, and so it's not mutually exclusive. It's not like they can only make AAA or only make AA. Gotcha. I think they are investing to produce both. And I think that they want to raise the quality of their AA to a higher standard. Overall, they realize that they have been getting killed in the quality metrics, whatever that means to different people, because it's so subjective. But at the end of the day, I think most people will agree their quality has suffered. And they are trying to fix that with quality and to have content. And they do want to feed Game Pass, but not to the exclusion of AAA content. Mm-hmm. And so I do agree that it's going to take some while for these games to come out. Like J-Dub said, 2-3 years from now, they can have some. I personally don't believe that Halo is going to be 2021 unless it's severely compromised. I think based on what I heard, 2022 is the most reasonable date given how much trouble. We'll see.
That's Code. Any real quick question? I mean, interrupt you, man. Any rumblings of them ditching the
I have radio silence on that.
Okay.
I'd heard that the team really didn't like it. They had two teams. The dev team really did not like trying to deal with the design for two different platforms. And they had kind of met with management. They had kind of got management to listen. And when I say the dev team, I don't mean like 343. I mean the actual in the trenches people at 343 versus the leadership at 343. Yeah. I don't mean Microsoft. I mean within 343 itself, there was some dispute over that. So, but then it's radio silence after that. I haven't heard anything else.
Yeah. How did they not see this coming years prior to, or even a year, the beginning of the year? How did they not see?
They did. So there's more than one they, Jay. So from what I understand, this is all just a rumor. From what I understand, the programmers, the artists, those people, but mainly the programmers, tried to tell the upper level management that this is way more complicated than you think, and this is going to cause problems. And 343 management's solution was to simply hire more programmers, with that notion that you got more people working on it, the more you can do, the more you can get done. And we did not really listen to the dev team, who was saying that you can't throw money and people at this. This is a technological problem. It is very complicated. And no one listened. And they spent a boatload of money getting all the new people in and all these contractors and all of this stuff. But that just led to more confusion. There's this thing in software called the mythical man month, which basically means if you add people to a late project, it just makes it later. And for some people didn't believe in the mythical man month, apparently. And so they added all these people and the project got worse till eventually it was like, okay, we see, we understand, we need to do something. So then they just had two teams working on two separate things from what I heard. But that's still going to cause a problem with co-op and multiplayer. And so the dev team was like, look, y'all on the same trash. I heard that they were able to get a meeting or something to that effect. And I haven't heard anything else since.
Wow. Real quick, I want to get this.
Parts of they did know it, Jay, but the other part of they figured if we just got 1,500 people working on it, problem solved. And that was not.
Yeah. Isn't that why Microsoft needs, I don't think Phil Spencer's the guy, but someone else who can go to these studios and look and test these games and see and be engaged in what they're working on, if the direction is going to work, if it's not, if they think gamers are not going to like this, you guys need to try something else. They need that guy, that quality control guy. I don't know who it is. They need that guy because Microsoft has games. It's just the quality control of those games comes out in a fashion that gamers don't typically like. And I'm not talking about
argument for me.
You know what I'm saying? I've always said this. I've always said that Shuhei Yoshida was that guy for Sony. I still think to a certain point he is. Herman Holtz, he's took over that position, so he's that guy now.
Yeah.
We all know the story about how Shuhei told Cory Barlog, nah, this is not the game that gamers are gonna like. And so they scrapped it and started over or redid some stuff until you're finally satisfied. And they need that. And that shows the quality in how the management team works at Sony versus how it works at Microsoft. And I'm not saying copy Sony, but if something is successful, why not? You know, why not? Why not copy great strategies? The best companies in the world, that's all they do.
Greatness.
I agree. I'm co-signing all of that, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to get some super chats. Give me a sec here. I got to pull up. Lost my super chats. We got JD Gamer's a $10 super chat. So some games will be years out, but they are games that are coming sooner. But like Sony, it is the hope and promise of these games that will bring people to the Microsoft platform, a la PlayStation fan desire for The Last of Us.
I don't know what you
got.
What desire that Microsoft has from its IPs? I mean, what desire that would?
Hold on, Jay. What you mean?
No. Wait. Let me correct that before it be misconstrued. We all wanted Halo, right? We know Halo coming, but that stuff is a year to 2 years out, right? For whatever, for better or worse. We already had a Gears, right? So we're not going to get a Gears for a while. Forza is in pre-production, so we're not going to get that for some years. those are the only 3 mainstay IPs that Microsoft has kind of invested in and continuously to try to keep that success going over this last decade. So that's why I'm asking, like, but Sony has, you know, The Last of Us, Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima, and we can keep going on and on. God of Wars, all that stuff. We can keep going. So I'm asking, with the promise of just having sequels, I think Sony's have earned their credit when it comes to, okay, I'm going to buy a PS5 because what they showed me in 2020 was enough for me to impale and go ahead and spend that $3.99 or $4.99. Microsoft, on the other hand, does not have that vast IP quality that gamers are just dying to get their hands on.
All right, so okay, so J. All right, so yes and no, and I want to be very clear. Like, I agree with your analysis, but I don't agree with your conclusion. So I'm right with you on the analysis part, 100%. And here are the reasons that I disagree with your conclusion, is because I think it's incomplete.
Okay.
So first, and this will forever, the PlayStation fan extremists, which I think you are sometimes in fun, but like, I know you really play on everything, but I do think that when it comes down to it, you really believe that PlayStation has a better games lineup and a better staple of studios because of what they has demonstrated. And if we're going to have like a serious conversation, I think you would say Sony has just proven it 100%.
I agree. I would not deny that without a doubt.
Okay. And so the reason that type of person will always have to pause in their argument is because that little studio that got you shooting all them robots. So Killzone really wasn't Horizon is one of the best IPs for PlayStation, and it's a new IP, and it came from a studio that people thought was falling off with Killzone. And they made something completely new, and out of the blue, they were able to show you that it is possible for a team that you underestimate to just slingshot their way to the very top and sit up there with the kings. So it's possible. And then you mentioned Days Gone, which a lot of people hated on Days Gone. I love Days Gone. It was my game of the year. Actually,
Days Gone was good.
Second game of the year behind Death Stranding. So, but then same thing, Sony Bend is not new, but that IP itself is new. And I am to the sequel. I agree with you that as far as sequels go, there is no competition that the Sony lineup of sequels, if they never introduce a new IP, they could take you the strength of another 7-8 years just on that alone. But I think they will have new IPs. The reason I disagree with your conclusion, though, is I think the door is open for Microsoft to also have new IPs, because you can't only look at what they've done before. You're dealing with human beings and creativity, and they can create this new thing that catches everybody off guard. We've seen it twice now in the PlayStation camp.
Oh, I agree. I think
that is the Bethesda thing. Go ahead, get your shot off on that.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think that was my fault for not finishing that particular conclusion. I never meant to say that Microsoft couldn't do it. Obviously, they have no choice but to do it. They're deep. They're about $10 billion in deep. So I would hope, right? $10 billion with about 30 studios. Some of that got to be fine. I mean, we can get 60 Metacritic games forever. So I would hope, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about outside of Halo, Gears, and Forza. Those games are always going to be great. They're always going to survive. I'm talking about outside Halo, Gears, and Forza. We just don't know what it is, right? I would hope Hellblade is going to turn out to be amazing. And this next, again, the more that Microsoft produce on a high quality level that is on the level of Nintendo IP and Sony's first party IP is the best for all gamers. That's what we're buying consoles for. That's what I bought the Series X for, right? Obviously, I don't think there's going to be any compelling first party IP for the next couple of years, but I bought it in hopes that eventually some of these 30 studios are going to be be able to produce the quality of that. And we've did it this generation. We're going to do it next, and the next after that. That's just what it is.
Yeah, guys, some super chats here. Z Black Rider with the $10 super chat says, "Damn, agreed with Code twice in 2 days." Funny.
Is that good or bad?
I guess it is good. No, I don't know. I got another $5 super chat. What's that?
So I'm gonna think it's good.
Yeah, here we go. Oops, I gotta get rid of the super chat. Hold on a sec here. Here we go. JD Game with a $5 super chat says, "The next Doom, Fallout, Rage, Lost Odyssey, Fable, Perfect Dark, Halo, Persona 6, Resident Evil if Microsoft succeeds in its next 2 big acquisitions." And then Wise Old Gamer says, with the $2 super chat, "Thank you, sir." Says, "We want competition. We may actually get it now." I agree with that. I think we're gonna get a lot of competition next generation for sure.
And JD Gamer brought up the second piece I was gonna go into, but I wanted to give Jay, a shot at my first point, and that's the Bethesda purchase, because now they do have a set of known IPs to produce sequels for that people will be excited about on some level.
I agree with that too. The only reason I didn't give it as much heat as I did the other stuff is because, just like Jeff Grubb said, Doom, Fallout, Rage, and some of the other games they all missed their metrics. They're kind of waning as far as popularity and sales. And this is the analyst's point of view, not mine. I'm agreeing with him. Well, if that's true, if all of those sales were less than what they should have been, and Bethesda was about to start selling some IPs and in studios, if ZeniMax or whatever was starting to sell some stuff off, then that means that was already a problem. And we know for a fact Microsoft, most of their purchases here within the last 2 years have been distressed studios in publishers or whatever. Ninja Theory was in financial straits. They were probably going out of business or some stuff like that from what we hear. And some of the other studios, right? And nothing's wrong with that. I'm just saying Microsoft investments within the last 2 years have kind of been like the troubled people. Not saying that.
Let me jump in there, Jay, because I understand the point you're making. And here's the thing. I said this to Hard 8 on our show last week. Video game creation is extremely difficult. And I know that we, the gaming public, we focus on the IPs, but the platform owner focuses on the talent. And what Microsoft has been doing is securing skilled developer talent. And if the game is good or bad or not, for example, you can get, I'll just use the Gorilla again. You can use the team. That team has talent. They have skill. They may have been paired with a director who didn't have a vision that would be successful in the marketplace, but the talent is there. So you pair that team with a different director with a different vision, and that team will produce magic. The talent is the key. And by that, I mean, you could give the God of War franchise right now to, I don't know, Moon Studios, and then you give Ori to Santa Monica, and nothing against Moon. They just, a smaller thing. I hate to use them as the example, but they're going to get this smoke. God of War franchise will fall off. The Ori franchise will rise because it's the talent and the studio and that whole thing. And so the IPs have value. What Microsoft and Sony, when they got Insomniac, Sony wanted the talent. They wanted the skill that existed. And then they can throw IPs at this talent and they can produce masterpieces. What Microsoft is doing is doesn't matter how well those games performed metrically. What matters is, can we keep this talent and can we point this talent at other projects?
I agree 1,000%. The only caveat that I have with that is 343, which
that's what made them realize we need more talent.
Exactly.
No lies detected here. Code
343 Halo is Microsoft's. I mean, it's undisputable that it's Microsoft's largest, biggest IP. That was the original OG game, and that's the original OG game until this date. And of course, it was created by Bungie. Bungie made it what it was, but then they realized once Bungie left, 343 is not Bungie. In the I'm not even going to say quality, right? Because that's all subjective, but
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
gamers
game fell off.
Yeah, hey man, and this is why a lot of Xbox guys are. Man, I hope Microsoft buy Bungie. I heard rumors of them buying, but because guess what? They want Bungie to be able to take over that IP and make it what it needs to be, not 343. So,
Agree.
Yeah.
But let's use that example because that's a great example. And I'm going to be very clear because I don't want to throw shade at 343. Bungie is good at looter, shooters, gunplay, and the whole thing that made Halo. Yes. They are very good in that domain. Like you got a doctor that specializes in heart surgery versus a doctor that specializes in like anatomy or something. Or
a general practitioner. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bungie is really good at making games like Halo. The bar was set way too high. I honestly think 343 has done a decent job. I don't agree that they are in Bungie level category, but I think they've done a decent job.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That if Bungie could take Halo and you let 343 make what they wanted to make, the way Guerrilla was able to make Horizon, I think everybody would shut up talking about 343 because they would be unchained from the weight of Halo and get to make what they wanted to make.
That's
and this is what I mean about the talent. It's the talent, and you got to get that talent with the right designer and director.
So Code, what you're saying is talent outweighs power.
Yeah, 100 billion%. You know not to play with me on that. Don't start with me on that. That power shit is meaningless. It's just numbers on paper.
Yeah, we're starting
right now. Like
people want to hear that, brother. Gamers do not want to hear that.
Man, I don't look.
Do not bring up the fact that 1.8 T-flops was able to produce quality, great-looking games that look better than 6 T-flops. So
I don't know how many million times I have to say it. All that power stuff is just numbers on a piece of paper. If the dev team cannot harness that power, it's meaningless. Period.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's all there is.
Amen.
That's a great point. Hey guys, I gotta get some more super chats. We have Rate the Emperor with the $5 super chat. Why would Microsoft go for Resident Evil when 6% of sales was on the Xbox? And then we have JD Gamer.
Reason to go with Resident Evil, but all right, never mind.
Yeah, JD Gamer with the $5 super chat says Monster Hunter has been in Game Pass forever. DMC was there, and the goal is to bring the other 94% of the players to the Microsoft platform.
Exactly.
That's there you go. Yep, that's it. Yeah, here we go. We got one more. JD Gamer with another super chat says with the $2 super chat says talent retention is why ZeniMax costs $7.5 billion. But you know what, Optimus Code, man, it's funny. I joke around about the whole talent thing, but we're starting to see that real world performance stuff now, benchmarks, loading times, things like that, whatever the case is, right? And we're going to see more of it. And I think like people are starting to realize that because people came after me. Oh, your PC is going to be outdated once the Series X drops. BRAP, you watch. And I'm like, no, that's that.
Your PC is, but yeah.
No, my PC's fine, Code. No, not stop with that slander. Stop with that slander, Code.
J-Dub PC gonna be all right, and this one that I'm getting built for Christmas is gonna be all right. But yours, you throw yours in the bushes, bro.
Code, we will not have slander here on BRAP, but no. I mean, it's funny. Like you say it, and we're gonna start seeing it. It's like people got mad at, like Jay was saying, at Digital Foundry for them breaking down ray tracing on Spider-Man, the Spider-Man remaster for PS5, and how it's running at ray tracing at I think they compare it to like a 2060 GPU, right? But we're not going to get these, like, people. Oh, we're going to get 4K 60 frames per second with ray tracing. I'm like,
28. I can't hardly do that. That's a tough call.
Yeah,
that's what Digital Foundry said. They said, look, even the PC, in order to get the 30 frames a second or the 60 that you want, you would have to sacrifice this, and that. And and again, it goes back to what I'm saying. Are you willing to spend $1,500 for a 3090, or do you want to stick with your $399, $499, in some cases for the X Series S, $299 price tag? I think console gamers' worst problem is trying to keep up with PC without spending that money.
Hey, Doug, you give console gamers too much credit, bro. You know I'm a console gamer myself. Well, like us, Jay, we game on everything.
Yeah.
I prefer consoles over PC because I'm too competitive.
Yes.
And on console, I know everybody the same, and ain't nobody's system better than mine. We all exactly the same.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the biggest problem with console gamers is they try to talk about shit that they don't know what they're talking about.
That's true.
90% of console gamers don't even know what ray tracing is. They think it's new. Ray tracing is in the 50s.
Yeah, and
50s.
Code, you would know that because you're around in the 1950s when ray tracing came out.
So my point is,
said I invented that shit.
Man, I wish I did, boy. I can right now, Jay. Shoot. But here's the thing: they get to arguing over these buzzwords that they heard in the last couple of years, and then they want to fight over it, and they don't even know what it means. They literally have to wait until Digital Foundry says, okay, yes, this has ray tracing, and they're like, yay! Or Digital Foundry says this doesn't have ray tracing. Oh, you horrible! You supported by Sony, whatever. All they want is a credible source to say what they want to hear. They don't know themselves. So the biggest problem with the console gamer, in my opinion, is wanting a bunch of shit that they don't even understand. Enjoy the games. They're gonna look beautiful, and quit trying to just one up the competition, whatever. Just game on what makes you happy, and if the game looks bad, deal with it. If the game looks great, keep enjoying it.
Yeah. Let the games speak for themselves. The games always speak for the platform.
Without Digital Foundry.
You can't say that, Enrique. It's not about the games. It's about the power.
That's
the games narrative does not want to be brought up for one party, and then the power narrative doesn't want to be brought up by the other party. That's just.
I had somebody debate me that price power was more important than the actual games. The content.
Ask Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, price is important. I'm not disputing price, but I would never put price above quality content.
Yeah,
exactly. What's in that price if you can't get nothing out of it?
That was my point. Like, yeah, you could have $199, and then they started giving me examples of like, oh, well, what about the Nintendo Wii? And then, I'm like, come on, the Nintendo Wii was a lightning in the bottle moment.
But that's the thing, the Wii failed because they couldn't get no support for it.
Yeah. The Wii U.
Yeah.
Oh, the Wii U.
The Wii U failed, but the Wii sold like 120 million units.
The Wii
but
sold in console.
It was also 149 as well. So
yeah,
and it was a gimmick. And it was a gimmick. Yeah,
exactly. The Wii was a big failure, and that's the thing. People looked at consoles and how quickly it sold, and that's that notion, Enrique, of a dead console. I think the numbers was something like 70% of Wii owners only played that pack-in Wii Sports and no other software.
That's true.
Yeah, actually, the 360 sold the most software that generation.
Yeah, and the Wii was like way low.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Should have brought that up when I was having the conversation. Yeah,
they built a system to make hardware. I mean, to make money in software. The Wii made no money in software because everybody played Wii Sports only and didn't buy nothing else for the system. That's a dead console.
To be honest,
active user.
That was really the only good gimmick. Was the Wii Sports that
Wii Sports? Yeah, it was.
Wow. So
yeah, real quick, guys, I gotta get some more super chats. We all made PlayStation Nation with the $5 super chat. Thank you. It says, is Sony buying WB Games? This news just came across my phone. No, they're not buying it. And analysts did say that they're probably in position or something, or in a good position to do so. But I don't think that's a thing that's actually happening. But who knows, right? JD Game with another super chat, the $10 super chat. Thank you, JD. Says Sea of Thieves wasn't a bad game. It lacked content. Save Decay wasn't a bad game. It was a buggy at launch. 23 studios in time to polish games between other game releases fixes both of those problems. I got to be honest with you, JD Gamer. I didn't think Sea of Thieves is terrible, but Save Decay was trash. Not a good game, in my opinion.
Man, I liked that. It was buggy, but the general concept, I liked it.
Yeah.
People like it.
Yeah, JD Game with the $5 super chat says, Code, that's not fair. Just because someone plays on console doesn't make them an ignorant fanboy, just like playing on PC doesn't make them Einstein.
That's true. That's why I said like 90% of them. And again,
Yes,
I take that off of my timeline. All these, I'm really thinking about closing my DMs, and like all the DMs that I get, all the stuff that happens on my Twitter timeline, stuff that's in my mentions. The majority of people on the console space argue about technology that they don't understand, that they just now hearing this very generation, and act like they experts and want to fight over it. And even then, they still need Digital Foundry to tell them, is this thing present or not in this game?
Code, but the Xbox Series X is a $500 2080 Ti. Didn't you know
that? Look, so on paper, the Xbox Series X is a great deal, and it is like the value proposition for that machine is really high. They just need to deliver content to get it out of there.
Yeah, they really do.
Until we see these things, I don't care about no dev kit. I don't care about no special prototype in hands of influencers. An actual Series X off the manufacturing line in the hands of regular people like me and you, where it's no special tomfoolery, no smoke and mirrors. Here's the actual device. Then and only then will we know what that machine can do. Same for PlayStation 5.
Yeah, right, that's a great.
It's just specs. It's just on paper specs. We don't know anything about them until we get them in our hands.
Facts. You know, people should listen to you more, Code, but they don't. They they send you ridiculous DMs.
Bro, man, I start publicizing some of this stuff.
I see you blocking people for just talking nonsense. It's kind of funny. But look, guys, it is 10 minutes till 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I want to wrap up the BRAP rant. And by the way, if you're looking for more gaming talk, please head over to the Scumcast, the Ash and Lucas podcast, which goes live in 10 minutes. So definitely check them out. Always a fun show. I think Jay just dipped. Okay. But want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Now, I dropped the digital code in there. I don't know who got it, but whoever did, hope you enjoyed it. It was a digital code for the Xbox, $25 digital code. We usually give those away on a weekly basis. Yeah, I forgot to give one on Wednesday show code. So, yeah, want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Really appreciate the support as always. And Optimus Code, man, always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you coming through and talking shop with us. Enlightening the gaming community with your wisdom.
It's something. I don't. It might not be wisdom, but it's something.
No doubt, man. No doubt. But yeah, we look, Code. I to me, I'm at a point where I'm tired of the tech talk. I want to see games now, man. I'm ready, bro.
Right.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think what I saw from Digital Foundry, even with the Spider-Man stuff, the ray tracing for console, I thought it was pretty impressive, man. Like I got to say, I was like, okay, this is cool. It's not probably on 2080 Ti level, but it doesn't need to be. It's a console. It's a $500 machine, right?
Facts.
And there's that value proposition there with that $500. You get ray tracing. It may not be like PC, but it doesn't have to be because you're paying $500. You're still going to get a pretty damn good experience, I think. And
I think really, it's better than PC, honestly.
You think so?
Not now, well, over time because it's the core system and they get to optimize one set of hardware. They don't know about it yet, but yeah, over time you will start to see some things that will rival the PC space. They just the talent and the skill needs time to evolve.
Code, I'm just gonna have to say when we're stop the blasphemy of the PC. It's never gonna happen. Now you bring up a great point. The optimization has always been I think one big advantage that consoles have always had over PC. But I mean that's
it's a closed system.
Yeah, closed system versus open system. Absolutely. 110%, man. You're right. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for these games. I'm excited for picking up Demon Souls and playing Miles Morales at launch. I'm trying to figure out what to play on the Series X right now at launch. I may just jump.
Crossfire X, that's a launch title, right?
I don't know. Is it maybe I don't know. I don't remember to be frank. I don't remember. If it is, I'll probably play that, man.
That's definitely what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah. Crossfire, and then I may jump back on Destiny on the Series X. I think Tom Warren was it Tom Warren? I don't remember. Had a video up of Destiny 2 running on Xbox Series X, but it looks like most of the stuff that I saw, and I didn't get a chance to finish the entire video, but what I saw so far was KB Fortis is ray tracing in a box. What I saw was that, faster load times, things like that. But I don't think I saw anything in terms of visual improvements. But I'll have to finish watching the rest of the video. So, all right, Code. Always a pleasure, man. Big shout out to J-Dub, who hopped off. Hey, I'm glad you guys got to rant with each other, Code.
Yeah, man. I wasn't coming on without him, man.
I know. I was like, if I want Code on, I gotta get Jay, I gotta get Jay in. Yeah, but Code, hey, we gotta get you back on the regular BRAP show, man. You gotta hop back on, man. Hang out with us, man.
Y'all too big timey for me, man.
What'd you say?
Y'all too big timey for me.
Nah, man. We're still small shop, as they say, But we got a great following. Really appreciate all the support we get.
Facts.
And there's a lot of the one thing I like about BRAP, I mean, there's not a lot of console warring in the live chat per se. There's sometimes we get, those actors in there, but most of the part it's always good dialogue, good conversation in the live chat. So definitely appreciate that. So all right. We are out. Please, everyone, enjoy your weekend, play some video games, have some fun, stay safe.
Tomorrow, man, on Any Given Sunday podcast, 4:00 Eastern with Hard 8.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You are doing that with Hard 8. Yeah. Oh, cool, man. All right, everyone. We are out. Again, stay safe. Really stay safe, because what's going on with people getting COVID left and right now.
Yeah, man. Let's not even go into that.
Yeah, just please stay safe. That's all I can say. Wear masks.
Facts.
Social distance. Just be safe. Play video games. Video games will keep you safe. All right. We're out. Hey, real quick to my man, Gaby Forte. You have an infectious smile, sir. We miss you. See you on Wednesday, bro. We're out.
Peace.